Up first is Drea Marilyn. Drea Marilyn, yes, writes sad songs you can dance to, which happens to be the name of the album she released earlier this year through an Artists in the Center grant. She is a singer, songwriter, composer, multi-instrumentalist, and educator who has toured all over North America and Asia with her project Drea and the Marilyns. She also plays bass and synth in Sprig and happens to be Bushwick's program manager. You may have heard from her in the past from original music inspired by Crying in H Mart, The Picture of Dorian Gray, or at InkAloud 2022. Make welcome Drea Marilyn.
Thanks, Wes. All right, I usually spend a lot of time writing the song, and then when it comes to like talking about it, I end up rambling and not making any sense. So if I sound scripted, it's because I'm like, okay, try to talk about the song. But Should You Lose All Reasons was such a beautiful and descriptive, and I know this is your story, Justine, but it's like very relatable. I joked with Wes last year that I'm like, I don't want any more sad books. Please don't give me any more sad books. And please stop giving me books that are like painfully relatable. Like Crying at H Mart was painfully relatable. Last year's Sacha Lapointe's Red Paint was also like painfully relatable. And then your book was very relatable, not as painful, just as heavy, but I think what made it more bittersweet was just like your descriptions of places and smells and things are just so, I feel like I'm there. Like, I think there's one part, okay, I have a tab that says tacos. Here it is, okay. Your line of tiny tacos and best horchata, swirly with cinnamon, of best bulgogi and kalbi, sizzling on a plate, of sitting in traffic for hours. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I think that's LA. I'm not too sure, but going through all the descriptions, I felt like I was in these cities, and I have so many different things I was gonna pull, and that's the quote I ended up taking. So, so with the inspiration with the song, I love all the references you use with Riptide by Beirut, and there's also Riptide by, who's the other person? Vance Joy, right? And I like how there's just these like juxtapositions of like, it's this and this, and just that yearning to be somewhere but not quite fitting in. So I reference the songs. I reference your mom keeping chickens after you've left, because my mom keeps plants, and it's like all her plants are thriving, and she's like, see, I could take care of things. I'm like, that's because they don't speak. Like, they don't. But it's just a similarity of like needing to like still hold on to something, and the mixture of like wishing that you were like closer. I really like how you address talking about the Paiute story, and how there's just this like awareness of, I want to share this story. Is this mine to share? How do I tell this intentionally without claiming it of my own? And like we make these things to like relate, like, oh, I hear that story, I relate to it. But that like amount of like, am I making this about me because like I relate to it? And that was just kind of what I was feeling with this. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm putting too much of like my own personal story, but that's what we all do. I practiced trying to be eloquent. I got pretty far compared to other Bushwick. Thank you. And that's it. That's my no. And then the story of like the coyote at like in the beginning of the book. You know, oftentimes when you read stories, you try to find who you relate to, and like oddly, the first time I read, I'm like, oh no, am I the dad? Am I the dad in this story? And you could tell by the way I'm carrying myself, he's not the good guy. Like, oh no. But it's that complexity of like knowing you feel hurt in particular situations, also like realizing that maybe I'm not the good guy in everything, and the guilt from that. So the form of the song kind of goes in between like me trying to have a conversation with you, Justine, on like, hey, yeah, my mom keeps weird things now that I'm not in the house too, to like, oh my gosh, I think I'm, I don't think I'm the bad guy, but there's definitely things I've held on to that I shouldn't have. And then one more fun fact, growing up with immigrant parents, I love them so much. They can speak so many different languages. I'll never talk, there's no children, but I won't curse. I'll never talk bad about that, but because English wasn't their first language, there's a lot of things I can't pronounce well, and I have to like put intentions behind it. And then so when you were mentioning like cookies and, here's the word, condensed milk, my mom growing up would say condensed milk, which was, it's cute now, but like I learned in my 20s that it wasn't how you pronounced it in the most like harrowing way. So if you hear me say condensed milk, it was intentional and a tribute to my mom. And if I don't say it that way and I say it correctly, it's conditioning from being traumatized, and I can pronounce it this way. Now I feel bad. Now I feel like I should say it the way my mom says it. Anyways, this, and last couple songs I've written for Bushwick have been very sad and minor, but I kind of wanted to make something more airy and open to reflect on like the beautiful descriptions of just like the desert landscape. And last note, I think it's so cool that you were a park ranger. Every time I go to a national park, I'm like, that would be a cool job, but I'm like unfit, so so I'll pick your brain about that later. All right, I'm done talking. We used to share songs we loved when we were young, daydreaming about what will become. Your mom keeps chickens, my mom keeps plants. Yours is scared of foxes, mine is scared of ants. And while the summer's sweet and the days are long, coyotes band to cry familiar songs. When the summer ends and we part ways, hopeless and hopeful friends wishing we would stay. We're seeking cities, we're seeking homes that can't keep us, we're forced to roam. Am I the only one angry as I look around, chasing tales from a different town? The summer's sweet and the days are long. Coyotes band to sing familiar songs, and the summer ends and we'll part ways. Hopeless and hopeful friends wishing we would stay. Coloring of coyotes, cookies, condensed milk, recalling of stories I once felt. Different place to hell. Familiar songs, but when the summer ends and we part ways, hopeless and hopeful friends wishing we would stay. I wish upon a star I was closer. But maybe your story is not mine to tell. And the stars will laugh at my want for closure. Or maybe they're wishing me well. Thank you.
Inspiration from the page, now translated for the stage.
Drea Marilyn.
It don't matter what your age is, all the rages, right here at the Bushwick Book Club.